Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Aminullah, and for the first thing is main content for article 1, which is the first one is what ethnography, sensitivity and the current record keeping, apply information, culture analysis in the workplace as the topic of this first article. And the author Gillian Oliver, Fiorella Foscarini, Karen Sinclair, Catherine Nicholas and Lydia. Alright, and when the article has been out is 2 January 2018. And why? For purpose, this article seeks to report the use of information culture analysis method in the workplace. The article makes the case that records manager should exercise ethnographic sensitivity if they wish to engage in productive conversation with records makers and users and bring about meaningful organization change. And how is to evaluate and evaluation to set for information culture to pilot studies when carried out in academic context. The researcher were university record managers approach the fieldwork ethnographically, trying to understand the information culture of their and the users rather than imposing their own record keeping concept and practice. For article 2 is for what? Email record keeping in the government sector, a case study of Malaysia, and who the authors is Siti Khairunisa and Sheikh Abdul Muttalib, and when is 2018. And why? For the purpose of the article is to explore the legal and regulatory environment in relation to the Malaysian government and the information it creates, and hold to explore the evolution of email record keeping by Malaysian government, to critically review existing policies, guidelines and system for capturing and managing email by the Malaysian government from record keeping perspective, and also to investigate the current practice in managing the email. And how is the introduction of a project by the Malaysian government that we offer the free email account to all citizens or any age 18 as a part of the country's transition to the e-government, to realize the vision and to serve as a context for the thesis. This project will enable citizens to access the e-government service using a single sign on the user ID.
Alright, for the next slide, which is article 3 of main content. For the first point, what? Alright, recording keeping informative, which is the title of this article. Refiguring a discipline in crisis with a single-minded approach. The second point is who? Frank Upward, Barbara Reed, Gillian Oliver and Joan Evans, which is the author of this article. Alright, next is when. This article is launched in 22 March 2013. Alright. The next is why. Alright. This paper goal is to draw attention to the dire situation that achieve. Alright. It means the record of management profession are in, and to suggest record keeping informatic focused discipline approach as a solution. And lastly is how, right, which is the method of this article. The dilemma facing the archive and records management industry. Alright, it means in light of the ever increasing information convergence, chaos and complexity, it offers recording informatics as a method for reconfiguring thinking system, process and practice. Alright, for the next article, which is article 4. First is what? It's refer to the title of this article. Achieving Organization Management Information System Organization. Next is who. It is referred to the author of this article, Olufemi Kunle Aramid. And next is when. This article is published in January 2020. And the next point which is why. Alright. Integral to the plan because they describe future conditions that the planner finds acceptable. For example, the statement that a company purpose is to establish an unmatched reputation in its industry and speaks to the future acceptable condition. Alright, for the last point, which is how. Alright, many organizations have tried adapt the balanced scorecard methodology in recent years. Alright, it is because to manage organizational performance, which tracks and measure performance is in multiple aspects, including financial performance. Alright, for example, shareholder return. Alright, for the next slide is lesson learned. For the first point is report the use of information culture analysis method in the workplace. And it's also exercise ethnographic sensitivity if they wish to engage in productive conversation with records makers and users bring about meaningful organizational change. Alright, for the next point is investigate how the Malaysian government has changed its email record keeping producers. Alright. It's meant to critically evaluate the Malaysian government current policies, producers, and system for collecting and managing email from a record keeping standpoint. Right. For the third point is draw attention to the dire situation that the archive and records management profession are in. Alright. It to suggest record keeping informatics a focused discipline approach as a solution. Alright. The last point is accession to the plan since there outline potential outcomes that the planner deems acceptable. Right. Performance is a measure of what a person, team, or organization has achieved.
For the conclusion, in Article 1 is the significance of this to professional competency requirement cannot be overstated. Only through dialogue and introspective will a profession be able to develop further about the anti method structure in the keeping with the time and advance. The record keeping community should begin substantially interacting with the end users of our system rather than continuing to concentrate on building and deploying compliance solution. And for the conclusion in Article 2 it start out with the explanation of email, including the example from the government sector and the 3 comparative nation of the case study of Malaysia, and this is followed by a explanation of the switch to explain and the basic of email, the ISO 16175 functional requirements for record in electronic office setting, register and file classification method, and electronic record keeping are also highlighted in this chapter.
Alright, for the next slide, which is the conclusion. Right. The conclusion that I have learned in Article 3 is the essay offers a fresh academic framework for both standard and innovative record keeping method. Okay. For the next article, which is Article 4, the first point is the purpose of this essay is to talk about MIS, its problem and its importance within an organizational structure. Prior to making judgment, the public and commercial sectors must be dedicated to finding out formal or organized information. Through computer simulation and gaming method, management issue will receive detailed solution. For the next point is using gaming technique and computer simulation, management problem will get in-depth fix. Okay, by establish a robust and effective MIS unit, this problem can be avoided. Okay, and that's all for us. Thank you.